You're now tuning in to the Ambitious Views podcast, where we share unique perspectives on storytelling within film and television from the past, present, and future. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ambitious Views podcast. I am your boy Corrigan and my homie, the best, the Blaze.
Hey,
What's going on?
what's good, Corrigan? How are you? How's life?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
From what?
From work.
You be doing some work.
I do be doing some work. It's midterm season, so I'm
Uh,
contacting kids to students about their grades and
mm,
then also getting ready for orientation for the summer start. So yeah,
mm,
I'm tired.
interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that, Blaze. You just put me on something today. I didn't know that about you.
Like, you do go to work.
Uh, all right, y'all. Well, as I said earlier, welcome back. Blaze and I got a great show for you all. I feel like this is kind of being it's kind of been anticipated because we're finally jumping into the show Paradise. All right. I know it was like catching wildfire and everything like that. It's crazy that I just said that and
I was about to say that can also be a little insensitive considering we are
sorry.
having a little bit of wildfire issues today in Arkansas.
Yeah, so I'm gonna back that up. Basically, the show has been trending big time on social media and everything like that. So I had to back that up because I don't want to be insensitive for what previously happened in Cali, and then preferably nothing will happen over the top of where like that in Little Rock and Central Arkansas area. But like Blaze said, there's definitely some fires and stuff like that going on. But prayers go out to support and strength for the firefighter team, and hopefully, things will be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, but today we're going to be jumping into Paradise. I know it's really big, trending, as I said earlier, and stuff like that. So, but of course, before we get into that, we got to get into our game. What is this? All right. Last week, Blaze did not perform well at all.
I
Okay.
didn't. You stumped me. I won't lie.
Yeah. And I tried to make it easy, but hey, it is what it is. So
It is what it
today
is.
it's Blaze's turn, and we gonna see what's going on. And just to make sure y'all know, because Blaze be claiming that I be cheating at stuff. Right. So, but really need to look in the mirror on that one. So
Oh,
as ooh, ooh.
wow. Why are you talking about yourself like that?
Anyway, is this is basically when both of us take turns once an episode to basically name three person, places, or things that is associated with a TV show or a movie. Okay, so I'm gonna hand it on over.
Or however I see the game. All right, let's go.
Oh, okay, y'all heard that though. So if I lose today, it ain't no ands or buts because I'm
I
feeling
don't
pretty
think you're
good.
gonna lose. I think this one I feel like it's either gonna be really easy, like you're gonna get it like that, or it's gonna be hard and it'll stop you.
Okay, okay. What you got?
So I'm going to give you three actors, and I want you to tell me what they have in common. I was gonna preface this different, but I was like, if I do that, it may give it away. So I'm gonna just jump into it and see if you catch on.
Okay, and you said this is actors.
Yes.
Okay, all
Okay.
right.
We got Robin Williams.
Easy.
See, see. We got Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. What?
And we have James Martison.
Wow. Jamie Foxx. I gotta pull out the Rolodex on that one because Jamie Foxx, what the crap? Jamie Foxx is definitely not dang, Jamie Foxx.
I did not think Jamie Foxx would be the one to stump you. I actually changed somebody else's name out for somebody else because I thought that they would have been easy, but wow, okay.
You said Jamie Foxx and then
Robin Williams and James Martison.
Robin Williams. Bruh. I feel the only thing that's gonna come to mind because of Robin Williams is gonna be something that I've never seen or I forgot that I've never finished the movie from beginning to end, I think.
Mhm.
But that's a hard one. Jamie Foxx? I'm trying to think, man. Like you got Ray. I think he was in Baby Driver. He had another movie in Netflix. Um, he played Ray. He had the Jamie Foxx show. He was in shoot, what was the name of that movie? He played a quarterback, I think, or he played a football player. He was in Booty Call.
He played a football player.
Yeah. It was I almost said Friday Night Lights, but I don't think that's it. That's
That was Derek Luke.
yeah, he was it was a movie because Ice Cube was in it. Not Ice Cube, LL Cool J I think was in it too. Because the guy who played the main character in the Godfather series, he was in it. I think he played the coach. Jamie Foxx. And I know he was in another movie that I didn't see. I think it was like The Pianist or The Soloist or something like that with
Mhm.
Robert Downey Jr. Dude,
Come
Jamie
on.
F-
What's your guess? What's your guess?
and I like okay, and not Jim Carrey, Robin Williams. You got Good Will Hunting, and then you got Aladdin. He was also in another show where I think he played like a Martian back in the day, but I highly doubt he was in that. Jamie was in that. Gosh,
Oh, when I tell you the answer, you're gonna be like, "Are you serious?"
I feel like, man, the only thing I can say, and I don't think that would make it. I don't think Jamie Foxx is in this.
Come on,
Blaze, you
what's your
cheating.
guess?
I'm gonna say you may be cheating. I really want to say a movie, but I think it's a show. But I don't think Robin Williams and the other guy, keep James. I don't think they were in that. I know Jim Carrey was in it, or was he? Can I get a hint? Do we do hints on here?
I never said that. The question I asked was, what do they all have in common?
I'm gonna have to say It's I want to do sketch. That's the only thing that's coming to mind. So
Pretty good.
I'm gonna say In Living Color.
Eh.
Because it was either that or Mrs. Doubtfire.
So the question was, what do they all have in common? And the reason why I didn't want to preface this is because if I did that, it would have gave it away. So today we're talking about Paradise. James Martison plays the president in Paradise. Jamie Foxx played the president in White House Down. And Robin Williams played the president in Night at the Museum and The Butler.
I would have never got that because I thought I was thinking like what they all was in at the same time. I would have never got that.
I said what they have in common.
I never would have got that. Told y'all Blaze was gonna cheat y'all.
I didn't cheat. I didn't cheat. I said,
What's
what
on
do
your
they
watch?
have in common?
What's on your watch list?
So I started watching Running Point on Netflix. If you're not
Okay.
familiar with that, it's this new show. It's like a comedy, I guess you could say, about this family that owns a basketball team. It's in honestly, it's kind of like very um similar to maybe like the family that owned the Lakers, but it's not
Mm,
them. But like that's what you can keep in your mind. And the guy that was running the team, the brother that was running the team, he gets in some trouble, and so the sister is ended up chosen to take over. And so
mm,
it's just about like their family, her taking over the team, a little bit about the team. It's super funny. It's really good. Highly recommend it. It's like 10 episodes. I want to say they've already been renewed for a second season.
mm.
But if you liked shows like Ballers on Max, then you would like Running Point. It's just kind of like more so from a female perspective.
That's dope. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching is it Jeannie Buss? I think that's her name. I
Hmm.
wouldn't mind seeing a series about her experience as a owner, which I mean I know that's probably not gonna happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can get a documentary, but
Yeah,
I'll be interested in that. I see Brenda Song is in this too.
she is. She is. We love Brenda Song.
Dope. I'm about to check that out. I think I saw a trailer about that.
Yeah, I recommend watching it. I think I'm on like episode 6 or 7, and the only reason why I'm not done with it is because like I've been watching. I'm trying to finish other things,
Yeah.
and so I keep getting interrupted.
Mm, be like that.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I'm watching, so I finished the reality show, Southern Charm. I started from the very beginning, and now I'm caught up with the current season. So I'm watching, I guess, a spinoff of Southern Charm called Southern Hospitality. One of the people that's on Southern Charm, Leva, she has several clubs and restaurants in Charleston. And
Yeah,
so Southern Hospitality follows the people that work at her club called Republic. And
yeah.
I've heard it be compared to like shows like Vanderpump Rules. So if you've watched that before, it kind of has that vibe. But it's been pretty good. It's a different vibe than Southern Charm. Southern Charm is more of like, if I'm being honest, a little bit elitist, a whole bunch of rich people,
Mm,
old Southern like ways and stuff like that a little
yeah.
bit. And then Southern Charm is like kind of a younger crowd. They in the clubs. It's a little fresh, I guess you could say. So I'm on like the second season of that,
Mm,
and it's been pretty entertaining, a nice little mindless watch from here to there. And it's only like 3 seasons. Um,
mm,
they said that this third season that just ended, was it's so good. It was so good that it's better than all the other Bravo reality shows this year so far. So I'm looking forward to continuing it.
You be find these shows, Blaze.
We'll
'Cause-
see. You know, I have Peacock, and I'm like, I'm the type of person where if I'm paying for something, I need to be watching something on it.
yeah.
And when I'm at work and I'm like doing data or logging information in, sometimes I just need something playing while I'm doing it. And so
Mhm.
I'll just open up Peacock and let something play while I'm doing my work.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, dope. No, it's definitely way your watch list is definitely way shorter than last
Oh yeah,
last
last time.
yeah, book.
Yeah.
Well, dope. Dope, dope, dope. Like I said, I have heard of Running Point, and I think I guess what Southern Hospitality is a spinoff of. I feel like I have heard of something like the original or whatever like that and stuff, but I'm kind of slow on the the reality shows beginning of this year so far, but yeah, I'll definitely keep my eye out for that. All I got is Paradise, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And so with that being said, Blaze, are you ready to jump on in?
Let's jump on in.
Bet. All right, y'all. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit hesitant on the show just because I kind of felt like initially based off the trailer, it didn't really grasp my attention. You know, I feel like it should have been more there, but at the time in my head and thinking about the new game coming out, Split Fiction, I was like, I'll get to it one day. But
Mm-hmm.
between especially Blaze saying you need to watch it, and
Mm-hmm.
then everybody on social media like you need to get on, I was like, okay, bet we
Mm-hmm.
gonna jump on, and family members too. So I will say, I really enjoyed Paradise.
Yay.
I really, I know a lot of people, and I think in the description they kept on saying dystopian, dystopian, but I really would say, and maybe that's just because of I don't want to say, me being optimistic of technology today, but so much technology is developing so fast and advancing so fast nowadays that I don't know, Blaze. Like, did you feel like it was as dystopian to you as it was to me, or do you look at when they say dystopian something in a different manner of futuristic vibes?
Um, I do think that it's dystopian, but I think it's dystopian in a different way that we've maybe have been exposed to dystopian before. Because I feel like other dystopian shows or books, movies, we jump into a world that has been damaged and people are trying to find out like what's our new way of life.
Yeah.
And this particular show, it's like they knew what was coming, and so they already planned to recreate what they had on the outside in this
Mhm.
in this cave. And so I can see why somebody would not look at it as dystopian because it seems very regular. And I think that jumping ahead a little bit, I think that that's going to be a big part of the second season when we go to the outside world and we see what things really look like and how things really are. And that may give us more of that dystopian vibe that we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. Yeah, because like what I thought it was gonna be initially starting off, it wasn't. And I do appreciate at the beginning how it's like you go through this whole experience of, Sterling K. Brown's character, Xavier, finding the president, Cal, being, dead on the floor and everything like that. And I like how, at the end of that episode is where they finally reveal,
Mm-hmm.
did think this is a normal situation, and you may have kind of even thought about like something seems kind of different, or whatever like that, and then boom, here we are, and so I will say I did appreciate the reveal. It didn't feel like a big reveal, but
Mm-hmm.
I But again, that kind of goes to like technology. Like I can see us having access to certain things with the wristband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, just because like in my old apartment, we had like a key fob that we use. That's the only way to get in any door, open up
Mhm.
certain things, all that stuff like that. Um, the only thing that kind of made me kind of wonder early on. I just felt like the neighborhoods, like the houses was like homes are really tight, but I feel like they was really close up on each other. Like, did that stand out to you early on?
Mhm. I mean,
Okay.
as I was watching the first episode, like I'm always like when I'm reading the book, watching the show, I'm always thinking about the title. Like, why is this the title? And so I'm like, y'all throwing us into like this kind of perfect little world. What's the
Yeah.
problem here? What's the issue? And why is this paradise? And then when we get that reveal, I'm like, oh, I get it now. Y'all have created a paradise. And over the course of the season, like we see the construction of this place. Like, okay, that's why the houses are so close. That's why it's such a small town, but
Yeah.
also moments where it feels large, if that makes sense.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I was like, man, like, this seems a little bit this seems a little bit unique, the way they doing things from entering the president's, place and how that's looking and all that. Like it was just very like how they said it was a very unique approach and I appreciated it. And I just liked how, I backed it up. I loved how they place things, they reveal things over time or whatever like that, but everything's really the answers is right there in front of our face,
Mhm.
and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I I will say I did not believe that his wife was dead after, if not the first or second episode. I thought she was alive
Yeah.
because the only reason why I feel like she was because they kept on showing everybody else and
Hmm.
confirming everybody else except for her. And it wasn't until they started doing the big reveal is when they finally showed. I was like, and I'm like, yeah, you showing this, and they kind of got me a little bit close to the end, but
Hmm.
something was just telling me I just felt like she still was gonna be alive. So,
What
um,
got me thinking that she could still be alive is like the development of Sinatra's character. She seemed like the type of person who if she likes to collect information, data on people, and then use that for her own benefit. And I'm
yeah,
like, well, what if Xavier's wife is still alive? Like, or what if she is in paradise and they got her held up in a cell somewhere, she's just waiting to use that because she needs something out of him. So like that's why I was thinking that his wife may still be alive.
gotcha, gotcha. No, that makes sense too. Yeah. So yeah, Blaze, let's start from the jump. Like, who you thought did it at first?
Who did I think killed the president? That was so hard because like each episode we got like little bits and pieces of information. And
Yeah.
so like the Billy Pace episode, the whole episode I'm thinking, "Oh, snap, I hope it's not was it Billy? I like Billy." Like and then Billy died. And I was like, "Well, dang." So it wasn't Billy.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't Xavier because that would have just been too obvious.
Yeah.
Um and I was like, based off the way she was like acting kind of erratic, I was like, could it be maybe the therapist?
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I can see that too. I thought it was Xavier.
Really?
I thought it was Xavier because the things that he was checking for, like number one, he was just a little bit too calm. He wasn't like, of course you can add like a Secret Service agent and be on guard, but it's just like he was not like immediately pull out my gun, go around the room, like searching or wherever like that. It was almost like okay, well, it happened. And then it's like he went over and checked the case and everything else. And it's just like well, that was gone. And it seems like he was almost more concerned about that being gone than anything else, which almost kind of makes me wonder, had he always wanted to get his hand on that to get more information based
Mhm.
off of what he was initially, what was initially revealed to him early on. But yeah, I thought it was either I thought it was him or I thought he knew that it could potentially happen. Um, but initially I thought it was him, and then I thought that it was Billy and what was the psycho woman's name?
Let me see.
As the old folks say, his lady friend. Oh man. I'm gonna have to look at the cast, but I'm gonna probably oh no, I see it right here. Uh Jane.
Jane.
I thought it was gonna be Jane. I thought it was Jane and Billy because and what I thought would had happened because the reason why I thought it was either first I thought it was Xavier, then I thought it was Jane because she giving all this innocent, scared vibes going on, but then turn around,
Hmm.
she she starts she's so like adamant about figuring out like what's going on, like asking questions like, fam, you're new, like chill. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you're way out of the ranks when it comes seemingly, when it comes to all this stuff. Like, so you wait until something is told to you. Other than that, like stop asking questions. And so I thought it was like that because I was thinking, what if he's throwing off the camera work or wherever like that with his actions by being on the couch? And
Hmm.
then that's giving enough time for her to do what she need to do to freeze the cameras and go do what and go after the president and then come back. Or overall,
Hmm.
I thought it was Robinson working with them two,
Mm. Okay.
you know. So that's why I was kind
I can
of
see those theories.
yeah, like I was kind of playing around with that at first and stuff just because I will say going through I wasn't unless I was missing certain cues, I wasn't quite clear of Robinson and Sinatra's character, and I didn't want to jump to Sinatra just because I felt like that was just an easy pick just
Hmm.
because it seemed like she was the next in command when it came to really pulling the trigger on certain things. And so that's how my mind was going. Um Now I ain't gonna lie, even though Billy was cool, but Billy still went out there and did what he did,
He still went out there and did what he did. That he did.
you know. So that's
But,
my
but after seeing the end, sorry to jump ahead, I do understand Sinatra's thought process for wanting Billy to take those people out. Because look at it like this. And I'm thinking about it in terms of the show The 100. You know, if you've never seen The 100 before, it was a group of people. They are several people from around the world. They had their own like little home in space because the Earth got destroyed or
yeah,
it was damaged or whatever. And so after years of living in space, they had to start getting rid of people because, they ain't got enough air. You feel
yeah,
me? And
yeah,
so doctor's thinking is probably we can't have everybody come up in here. We ain't got that many resources.
hmm,
And so if we tell the people inside that there are people outside, then everybody's gonna freak out and they're gonna be like, well, I gotta go get my mama, I gotta go get my cousin, I gotta go get this person, get that person. Well, you can go get them, but you're not coming back with them.
yeah,
So I understand her thought process for having Billy take them out. I ain't saying I agree with it. I wish that it may be this may be part of the next season, but I wonder if there are any plans on rebuilding the outside world
yeah,
and if she just wanted to kind of control that information until they had a plan. Like that's
hmm.
what I wonder was her thought process as well.
Yeah, I think it's two things with Sinatra. I feel like number one, she wants to feel right. She don't want to feel wrong about anything that she chooses to do, especially when it comes to her family. Secondly, I feel that she also, based off of her past experience with losing her son, she wants to have control of as much
Hmm.
as possible, unless it's a natural cause.
Yeah.
And so I feel and I just feel like, she don't know how to not be without power. I
Yeah.
feel like that happened constantly when, Xavier got with the other guys and was taking over and everything like that and taking control of the system. She didn't know how to act in a high intense environment. She started
Hmm.
getting really shook, getting really angry, all this stuff like that. And so I look at it like this, as in, no matter what is going on out there, I want to have control here, and people never think that they can't trust my leadership and my judgment on things.
Hmm.
And I also feel like, which I feel like is very human, but not to this extreme, she don't want to go back on all the stuff that she built. So the amount of effort, which I wouldn't mind just kind of learning how much effort was put in to really develop that whole area. And the time they kind of, got on a little bit when they basically revealed the killer and stuff like that. But like just really elaborating on like the time and effort that she put in and the time it took to even get that done and ready and the, over time or wherever like that. And I feel that, she just want to be right. She don't want to go backtracking on things because
Hmm.
it could easily go to waste and people go back to civilization.
Hmm.
They may have to rebuild, but of course, would you rather be in the real world and experience things as it used to be, along with rebuilding some things? Yeah, of course, we don't know how things are technically out there yet. We just know that some areas are thrashed, but
Hmm.
who knows? I will say, like, speaking of thrash and blaze, the fact that in the midst of something tremendously, horribly wrong happening, these folks sending missiles all across the world.
That first thought was we gotta attack people. What? What? Like it's a natural disaster going on, and y'all first thought was sending missiles. Who I gotta fight? Because that's some dumb stuff right there. What? Why is this even like a consideration, a concern? Nobody's attacking anybody. Why are we sending missiles?
Worldwide.
Worldwide. But you know what? To add that actually reminds me of what I wanted to say while you were talking, because you mentioned that she really liked
Yeah.
control. Did you notice that like all the people that she has around her are not like political figures, but they're billionaires?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
intentional because with the she can kind of control them because she has money, so she can talk their language, but she also knows how to like
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
understands like the political side of it, and that's probably because of her relationship with the president. And so having the billionaires who don't understand how to manage a country, so to speak, I think that was smart on her end because it helps her stay in control. Because they're just like, as long as you got all the plans, we got you, we got you. Because we don't know what we're doing. We just know how to make our money in our lane.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. I definitely feel like that was intentional. A lot of them, like, I mean, the perfect example is like at the end when all of them just, yelling and going back and forth, all this stuff like that or whatever. And it takes somebody stern with them because at the end of the day, these are supposedly portrayed as the cream and crop of like having so much money to where they don't even know the money that they make is just going to a meeting probably once a month and just knowing what's going on. That's the only work that they probably do to keep their money flowing and stuff like that. because it was it's the elites pretty much when it comes to the
Mhm.
financial gap. And so yeah, I definitely picked up on that. And you can tell that at the end of the day, her main thing was always keep up fear around her and making it seem like she's always in power and you never know what her move is. It was a lot of ways
Mhm.
she kind of elaborated on her control of even, the president himself to where, we finally realized it wasn't technically that she had control of him, but she had a lot of influence until a lot of things started being revealed to
Mhm.
him. And I will honestly say, Blaze, and I will say this before I say what I'm about to say. I will say I feel like this was my favorite project that Sterling K. Brown has been in, personally for
Mhm.
me. But the unexpected standout for me personally was James Marsden.
Me
Like,
too. Me
I
too.
was like, bro.
Yeah. Like I'm used to seeing him in comedic roles. And so for him to be in this something that's this serious, I was like, you better get that Emmy. Like, can I be on the voting committee? Cause it's his.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was like, bro, in the it was just like it was written so good to really pinpoint, hey, this ain't just a dummy. This ain't just someone that's just saying something at the side of his neck. He may not be the brightest, all the stuff like that. But man, like he brought it. Those last few episodes, I was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
wow. Everybody did good. I would even say the one who played the therapist, Dr. Gabriella, I think Torabi or Tarabi.
Mm-hmm. Tarabi.
Um, yeah, I enjoyed her character as well. I feel like that was kind of like an intentional like fake with us. I feel like as viewers because she definitely was brought in to make it to definitely switch things up, but then close to the end it's kind of like her character wasn't as uh wasn't as strong or important close to the end. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like her character was definitely a tool. Unless at the end of the day, she has another Joker card that she can pull out at any time that we don't know of. Because apparently, even though as much as she's known, and what she did, for some reason, Alessa Sinatra doesn't like to, go off on nobody unless she feels like really, really threatened. She kept her alive, which I felt that was very interesting for me, since she was so quick to let go of Billy, and everything like that. Because even if Billy would have said anything, I don't know, for me personally, I feel like it wouldn't have changed that much. I feel like what would have happened would have still happened, um to a certain degree, unless she done that out of fear of what Billy could do to her because of his skill set once teaming up with Xavier. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
man,
think she's scared of Dr. Tarabi. I think if anything, the relationship between the doctor and Sinatra is very like they need each other in a sense
mhm,
because Sinatra is like the architect, but the doctor understands people. And so she
yeah,
adds that humanistic aspect. And
yeah,
so the doctor is complacent with everything that Sinatra has done. And so she can't want her dead
true,
because
true,
then all the guilt falls on her. And I don't think she is prepared to accept that.
gotcha. So how do you feel about Jane? Do you feel like she answers to somebody else?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I think she has been in this cave for a few years and she's bored and she's tired of answering to somebody and she just wanted her weed.
That's
I don't
facts.
think she answers to anybody. I think that somehow her and Sinatra are still gonna end up being on the same team. Like she's still gonna work for Sinatra, but like now she's laid that precedent of like, I'm not the one to play with.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Scandal,
Mm-hmm.
character and a couple of people on her team that's a little bit out there mentally,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't make sure they straight, then things can get out of hand quick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so Blaze, I don't know if it was just me, because like I said, I will say number one, I was very surprised that Robinson wasn't in on everything with Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I don't know if it was just me, but I almost feel like when Xavier and Robinson end up running to each other at the bar, I feel like it was almost like a moment like, listen, bro, I'm black, you black.
You black.
Uh, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was
Because I
just
don't think you did it, and you don't think I did it. So let's just team up and figure out who did it.
because she was just so hard nosed. But it also goes back to when he had said what he said during the lie detector test when he was like, putting a business out. Well, not putting a business out there, but saying it out loud how he don't feel like it's right for her to be associated with this process. But
Which
now
is
it makes
right.
so much, yeah, and now it makes so much sense because Sinatra needed Robinson to not be all up her tail
Mm-hmm.
because and she was letting it by. You know what I'm saying? Because if anything, in no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a good point because I was gonna say this earlier. It never felt like, at least to me, that Sinatra thought Xavier did it. But like you said, she needed Robinson off her, like out of her business. And so she was fine with kind of having Robinson and Xavier go back and forth thinking each other did it while she, figured out what she needed to figure out.
Yes.
Which my question to that too is, or a question to add to that is, how long did Sinatra know that the president's killer was somebody that wasn't supposed to be there?
Mm, yeah.
Because
You know,
didn't
mhm.
they ask for the DNA to do a DNA check like episode one, episode two?
Yeah, but then they say it never did come back in time or it took forever to come. Oh, they didn't disclose it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't disclose it. They held it. I mean, probably found it out immediately, and basically the fiasco that she created all this buzz and everything like that over everything else, so it gave her more time to figure out um who it was, which also trips me out too, because it's just like for someone who was just a part of building the place, the fact that she couldn't find out who killed them based off of camera work or nothing like that and security stuff is pretty dang wild.
Mhm.
Uh,
But also to add to that, like it was all a matter of convenience. Like Billy and Jane
yes.
playing the game and changing the camera, all these people having like just normal arguments. Like this man could have literally got away with murder because of convenience.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, it I really loved how out of all the stuff that was going on, this one simple moment of going back and showing this one story of this guy's experience being one of the main managers of developing this place gets kicked
Mhm.
out, but also seeing the hardship that everybody went through or whatever like that, and that led to him doing that. And I didn't put two and two together that that was the same guy who tried to attempt to kill him earlier or whatever
I
like that.
didn't. They
Um,
did that. They did that well. Like you said at the at the beginning of this discussion, we everything that we needed to know was kind of given to us. We just didn't know.
yeah, yeah,
And
it was
and
almost
I and I did question. I was like, why this man trying to kill the president?
uh,
But
yeah.
but the episode, like the show continues to go on, and so I didn't reflect that much on it. But
I feel like they was playing off the fact that it's unfortunately, it's normal to hear about assassination attempts on political leaders, especially the president. And we already at that point didn't kind of like the president based off the way he was being portrayed early on. And it was more so focused on, I think we were just so satisfied with like, oh, so that's what happened to his arm and all that stuff like that. Cause I know that's what I was. I was like, okay, so that's the backstory behind it. And now I see that they cool now, but I'm like, am I supposed to still be cool with him? I don't know about that, but I'm gonna keep on watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but yeah, like they did a great job, with that. And oh, that was the other thing I was gonna say, going along with control and not being wrong. I feel like she, out of everybody, is very fearful of the people out there
Mm-hmm.
in on Earth that or in
Oh
the
yeah.
United that's gonna want to come after her
Yeah.
because way they set up things to where only the elite had a chance of surviving and moving forward.
You know what though? I think she's more concerned about the people in the inside who are gonna be like, did you know? You know how people will blame you for things that are completely beyond your control. I feel
Yeah.
like she's more afraid of the people inside being like, "Oh, you knew that the world was going to be livable, and you just left these people out there. Let us out. You're holding us prisoner." Like, I think she's more afraid of the people inside, actually.
Right. I mean, I can see that being both because I mean, the moment that the people inside find out that they possibly could have went back to their homes a long time ago and not have to assimilate themselves to an artificial way of life,
Mhm.
uh, and everything like that, um, that's really gonna trigger them. And I found it very unique. It was a really unique moment how they, the counselor or the psychiatrist was basically like, certain things we just cannot do, and it can be very triggering for them. Um, and I just feel like, it's something that, hey, it was a good thing that they did and created, but was it messed up that they kept this tip top secret and the only opportunities was for the elite? And this elite could have also been the ones who invested to even get this built. Yes, but on the other end, kind of how I feel like the president was feeling close to the end. But at the same time, it's going to be hard to face the fact that, hey, you're going to end up letting a lot of people down because of the lie or lack of information that you provided. And I think that's the big difference I know, between he and the rich folks around him and Sinatra. They was
Yeah.
willing to make sure that their folks was good, forget everybody else, but still.
And I think this is a great time to talk about episode 7. I don't know about you, but that episode had me stressed out because it's like we know the end result, but the buildup was like it had my anxiety going. Like I was actually kind of getting like worked up about it because I was just like, wow, y'all are really about to leave these people. And
Yeah.
like all the White House workers being like, Xavier, you know something that's going on? Like, can you take my son? Can you like it was just so stressful. And then like they knew immediately, like, okay, he finna go on TV and say this, get some guns, cause they gonna try to attack us, y'all. And we can't even be mad at them because I
Oh,
would have been attacking too. Like, what do y'all mean y'all finna leave? And you not finna take us with you? That
yeah.
episode, whew.
Yeah, that was really wild because it's like, dang, man. And the lady that kept on talking to Xavier the whole time,
Hmm.
kept on talking to him. And then also it was like, it was really sad to where it's like pretty much the president knew from the jump that his wife wasn't going to be
Hmm.
her survival was going to be really, really low. And just that moment of the president also, Cal, really struggling with the custodian or the maintenance man or
Oh
whatever, like,
yeah.
which I honestly thought that he was gonna be like he can come with them or whatever. But I wasn't put like I knew I was expecting them to think that people from the city and people who were visiting maybe, but definitely from the city, like it'll just be crazy. But it really didn't dawn on me like, man, all these people who work for you directly, all stuff like that, y'all finna leave them at this White House.
Yeah. Or even like the security guy who started working that day and he even shot people to get them through. And when they got to the plane, he was like, "Nah, I'm getting on this plane. My
Oh man,
guy, you can't. You gotta stay here." I was like, "Oh, that is so sad."
that was sad. But I don't know. I almost feel like he may have would have had a chance because it's like Sinatra was still on the ground.
Hmm.
And I feel like out of panic, if he wouldn't have panicked, he
If he
probably
would have
could.
just got on the plane, if he would have just got on the plane, if he would have got on the plane before Xavier, and as soon as Xavier got on the plane, they was gonna go up in the air. So you know what they say, you missed the he thought he shot his shot, but he actually didn't. His shot would have been just getting in the plane. And then hold your gun up and be like, if anybody try to kick me out, all of us finna go down. So what's good?
Yeah, that. Oh gosh.
Which and they could have did that because when they got to the main place and he didn't have his name went on the list, they was gonna get rid of him anyway, security.
Yeah, true. True, man.
But that's gonna be the episode I feel like that the Emmy people that's on the committee gonna look at and be like, give James Morrison his Emmys.
Oh, most
Let,
definitely.
let's give him his Emmy, Golden Globe, whatever. Like, yeah.
Most definitely. And and I just realized when I looked back on this stuff, which I don't know why this didn't come to mind earlier, but we're saying like the comedic side, and I know he was in Westworld too, which I never did finish it because it started getting kind of unique as far as the experience watching it. But he played Cyclops, the first live action of Cyclops.
Yeah, and X-Men.
And I cannot stand him. He played
I
a
couldn't
very
stand him either.
I would want to give him that hand. So even then,
So I know. Oh my gosh, he was so annoying. Well, not him, but like the character, the way he was
yeah,
written, I was like, really, we can fight.
yeah, he did a great job of playing Cyclops. So I feel like it's definitely been there, but like he did a really great job. Like I it's kind of trippy because unless they do some more things like flashbacks, that's pretty much gonna be it, for his
Hmm.
character. So I guess he was like, hey, this probably gonna be the last time I'm in this whole show, so let me go out with a bang. And he definitely did his thing. And the full cast did. I am, characters like moving forward, like what characters are you looking forward to learning more about or wondering where things are gonna be headed for them?
Hmm. I
Second,
am I am interested to see what they do with Gabriella, the doctor. I'm
yeah.
interested to see what they do with her next season. Um Xavier on the outside. I'm definitely excited about that because this dude flew away in the plane. You think you finna just pop up to wherever your wife is in a plane, something that the people that's on the outside ain't seen in years, and you think that's finna go well? No, sir. No,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Baby, people gonna be like, where you get this plane from? Where have you been? You looked well fed. And what you mean you finna take your wife on this plane and go somewhere? I'm about to get on this plane too.
Yeah.
So things are gonna go down. I'm interested to see the person that his wife has become after
Mm.
being left on the outside.
Possibly very militant. She was
Yeah,
already
I
strong,
think so.
but I definitely think she's gonna be very militant, especially to be one of the survivors. And yeah, I think I really like I was telling Audrey, I really feel like this show is gonna be a totally different show
I
for the
agree.
second because it's just like, okay, now we know all the answers to things, and things are just out of Sinatra's control. And on top of that, Cal's son is telling people the truth about things.
Hmm.
I feel like it's gonna be a lot of chaos on the inside, and also possible chaos on the outside to where it's gonna turn into a survival thing. Because, like you said, unless they've been able to find areas to where gas is still available, and depending on how passageways are, like they're gonna be wanting to find out, okay, where y'all been, and how can we get there, or it's gonna be very dangerous for Xavier, depending on how
Yeah.
things go. Because if
My question
anybody,
is Sinatra even gonna let him back in?
well, Sinatra got to be able to swallow first.
This is also true. But who else knows he went out other than Robinson? And I don't think she got the authority.
No. But that's the thing. Like, I don't see how you can regain control on the inside unless
Yeah.
you fully submit like they did, and just because they want to keep the peace, you're not gonna scare the people on the inside because now we know how easily triggered they can be, which I definitely understand. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how that's gonna work on the outside and the inside, and where would the show be going after that. I'm very intrigued about that because the difference between something like this and then like From, the goal is still to get out. No matter how many layers have been peeled back or whatever like that, the goal is still to get out. And now it's like, okay, people can get out, but is it, even though it is, you can survive there, you can breathe, but then it's just like, is it too much work to even be out there? It's just like, what would be the end goal of this show? Or is the end goal of this show is literally humanity getting back together, working with one another to rebuild um something, something that people uh can thrive in, ultimately,
Mhm.
so
I mean,
so
I
yeah.
think a big part of like the theme of the show too is how do how do people I'm trying to think how to say it. How do we not make repeat the same mistakes? I guess that's the best way I can say it. Like the way that the world was before it was destroyed, how do we not repeat those things in paradise? And now that we know that, or some people know that the outside is livable again, how do you take what that living experience in paradise and improve on the world on the outside? But then there's an extra layer of the people who were still stuck on the outside. How do you how are they going to function because they've had a very different living experience? And
Yeah.
so that's going to create tension. But how do we allow, or how do we control that tension or prevent that tension from splitting people apart again and throw missiles again?
Yeah, because I don't know, man. That's
The missiles still got me wanting to swing. What are we doing, you guys?
It's just like, oh, y'all gonna be like, well, we still won at the end of the day, like what was the point of
What was
that?
the
It's
point?
already a big
You
huge,
made things worse. That's what you did.
yeah.
I think it was Kev on stage who asked this question. Whose fault was it that Xavier's wife didn't get on the plane?
Mm, it was it was the president. It was the president.
I
That's what
think
I
I say Xavier because Xavier knew enough that something big was about to happen. And even though he may not have known the specifics of what's about to happen, he should have just he could have stressed that to his wife a little bit more. Like, hey, I'm not telling you what you can and can't do, but I'm telling you, you do not want to leave. You need to stay. You probably want to stay here. Something is about to go down, and you need to be here when it goes down. Because I can't do anything for you if you're not here.
you know, I feel you on that, but for me, I can't put that on Xavier because he didn't know what he didn't know. And I feel like if
Mhm.
he did have a better idea of what was going on and how to address it, that he would have done that. But like he even said, I think they even argument like it ended up coming way earlier than even they expected, but they were still prepared. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's the president's fault because you literally had this man that's sacrificing his life. He
Hmm.
sacrificed his life for you and been with you all of the time, constantly there with you all the time. You could have told him that, hey, it's probably time for where you don't need to let your wife possibly leave or whatever like that, or always stay close, or we talk because at the end of the day, everybody knew stuff but Xavier.
You're right.
Everybody around when something's about to happen, except for Xavier. So even though, yeah, he's top security, and guards the president and know all these ins and outs, he knows all the ins and outs of the White House, all the stuff like that. And y'all claim that y'all entrusted him with this knowledge, but y'all did not give him the golden information that everybody
Mhm.
on the elite side know. Because I guarantee even the wealthy folks knew and
Oh,
stuff.
most definitely, most
Because,
definitely.
and that's
But
what
you
I'm
know
saying.
what?
Go ahead.
Now that I hear your argument a little bit more, I do agree that it is the president's fault because it could have been something as simple as him being like, you know what, let me talk to your wife. Because I'm pretty sure she didn't have that many interactions with the president. And
Right.
so if he would have came at it like that, she probably would have been like, "Oh snap, this serious cuz why he want to talk to me? We don't fool with each other like that."
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it. And like I said, I truly feel if Xavier knew, which I feel like that was his whole point the whole time, he would have done what
Mm.
he needed to do. But like they gave him just enough to feel okay, but never gave him they gave him enough to make him feel like he was part of in and he never was.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. And he never was.
He
Yep.
never was. He was just like any other
It was a
civilian.
pawn,
Yeah, he was a
essentially.
Yeah, and I feel like the only reason why he was able to make it as far as he did is because he was the Secret Service person or the president. If it wasn't for that, he would have been left at the White House.
Yeah.
So, so yeah,
Like that other guy.
yep, exactly, just like the other guy. So, but yeah, man, but yeah, it's a really great show. It's been, like we said, it's been renewed for a second season. No clue when that will be coming out because I'm pretty sure is going to be even bigger than this last season because it's just a lot to it. I know the writers are definitely going to be going at it with this or whatever, and hopefully they can find some type of way to still kind of keep us going. Whether it's a fast forward to one moment, it's just like how we get here and they backtrack. I love when layers and stuff like that are peeled back. So other than that, y'all, appreciate y'all for joining us for today's episode. Whether it's the morning, noon, or night, hope y'all have a good rest of the day. And other than that, please keep on supporting us. Please subscribe to the Emerald Inc. YouTube page, and we'll see y'all on the next one, or y'all hear us. Peace.
Peace.